In 2017, David Archer, he's a Scottish man based in London, he was convicted of running a chain of brothels across London, which were turning over an average of about €2 million per year. And he was also convicted of trafficking vulnerable women from outside the EU, from Brazil and Eastern Europe, who he then forced into prostitution. He was also convicted of sexually assaulting some of those women. The Met in London believed that he actually drugged some of the women and raped them. So he's a very nefarious character. Now, he arrived in Ireland, according to our Irish Independent investigation, in February of last year. And he immediately set himself up as a rogue landlord, where he rented premises in Dublin city centre using fake documentation, and then he crammed them with beds and rented them to people, tourists coming to Ireland, online. We caught up with him last summer, and at that stage he had been arrested for breaches of the Sex Offenders Act, where he had failed to register himself and An Garda Síochána as a sex offender from the UK, which is a very, very serious matter. He was brought before the courts, he was charged, and he disappeared. He was due to appear again in court on 28th of July, disappeared, and a warrant has been in existence for his arrest ever since. Now, after the bench warrant was issued for his arrest in July, Archer effectively disappeared. Now, this latest investigation with the Irish Independent, we have discovered that he kept his head down for a short while, but then set up a number of companies, bogus companies, under the false name of Jeff Both. And these companies are basically involved in providing handyman services, and he took out a premises in Baggot Street in Dublin. And quite literally, he has gained access to people's homes, particularly in the South Inner City, in that whole Dublin 2 area, for at least 5 months, while he was also wanted as a dangerous sex offender. So about 2 weeks ago, myself and photographer Mark Condren, we were watching him for several days. We were trying to lure him into a sort of a situation where we could confront him again like we did last summer. And as we were watching him, the Gardaí arrived to arrest him. Now, what happened then was very, very dramatic, because as the Gardaí were trying to gain access to this basement property that he was using, he literally ran out the back door and has vanished. He left everything behind him, his wallet, his diaries, his phones, all of that, except his passport. And now the police, the Gardaí, believe he may have left the country. Now, the hunt for David Archer is being led by the Divisional Protective Services unit attached to Pearse Street Garda Station in Dublin. We understand that all Garda units and stations across the country have been alerted that this man is to be arrested on site. They've also alerted the PSNI and the UK police. Now, the UK police separately also have an interest in him, because the authorities there want to return him to prison. So the suspicion is at the moment that he escaped with his passport. It's quite likely that he has left the country. Most likely that he went, they believe, to Spain or Portugal.